Good evening and thank you for joining us. Thunder Bay Police have confirmed the pedestrian involved in yesterday's collision with a transport truck has died.
The crash occurred just after 2:30 in the afternoon on Dawson Road, just east of the expressway. The male victim was struck on the merge lane onto Dawson Road from Highway 1117. He was taken to hospital where he was later pronounced dead. The victim's identity is being withheld as police attempt to locate next of kin. The investigation continues, and anyone with information is asked to call Thunder Bay Police.
According to OPP, one person has died after that Wednesday morning house fire in Dryden. Fire service responded around 12:15 a.m. to a residential blaze. The deceased was the lone occupant of the home and succumbed to their injuries in hospital. The cause of the fire is still being investigated.
It likely comes as no surprise, but food bank usage is on the rise here in Thunder Bay.
That comes from Feed Ontario's 2023 Hunger Count report. The organization held an event today at the airport, shining more light on the local crisis. Jess Clement reports.
Feed Ontario is sounding the alarm about food insecurity after its 2023 Hunger Count report showed monthly food bank use in the province has more than doubled compared to pre-pandemic levels. Feed Ontario CEO Carolyn Stewart was in Thunder Bay on Friday as part of a provincial tour to talk about the annual report, which gathers its data from food banks across the country, including in our city.
We've seen over 800,000 people accessing food banks last year with almost 6 million visits. This is almost a 40% increase year over year, the 7th consecutive year of increase, and the largest increase on record.
The report noted that the high cost of living, progressive growth of precarious work, and unaffordable housing were driving factors in the increase. This is the first time in a decade Feed Ontario has stopped in the city, and Stewart says is to ensure local voices are heard in northwestern Ontario.
You're obviously dealing with almost a compounding factor of all the factors that exist across the province. Geographic isolation, access to food, increased food prices. You're dealing with a different demographic population. For food security impacts Indigenous population, racialized groups, almost sometimes 3 times as much as the regular population. So you're seeing that here.
Stewart says food banks are struggling to keep up with the demand and is calling on higher levels of government to address the issue. RFDA Executive Director Volker Krom echoes her concern.
We have to really think hard about the services that we provide because we can't afford, it's not sustainable constantly be searching for food or trying to buy food at these prices. And the demand keeps rising. Unless there is some economic relief or a change in the economy, we'll be seeing more and more people coming to food banks.
And while there are challenges ahead, the event saw some relief for the RFDA with a $50,000 donation from Ontario Power Generation.
It allows us to those communities that we normally serve, the remote communities that we serve, we can say yes to emergency supplies. And we do get those requests. Not always can we say yes. And we can't expect the people in Thunder Bay to be constantly supporting the rest of the North. And by partnering with corporations, we can do that.
Jessica Clement, TBT News.
A Northern Ontario MP is pushing the federal government to help secure more work for Thunder Bay's Alstom plant. NDP member Charlie Angus made that argument today in the House of Commons.
Toronto's Bloor Line needs new subway cars, and Thunder Bay has the workers to build them. Toronto had an RFP ready to go earlier this year to replace the cars, but had to pull it because the Liberal government refused to come to the table with funding. The Liberal indifference on transit is bad for the people of Toronto, bad for the workers of Thunder Bay, and bad for the climate. I have watched subway cars come off that line in Thunder Bay. I have spoken with the workers who have the skills, and they're ready to take on this work. Why are the Liberals leaving Toronto's subway system to crumble and Thunder Bay's Alstom workers to fend for themselves?
It allows me the opportunity to underscore the intense and significant financial supports that this government has put in place for the City of Toronto since 2015. In 2015, the Conservative Party saw fit to supply Toronto with about $200 million a year. In this year, we are providing Toronto $1.8 billion. Next year, that will rise to $2.1 billion. The supports for transit in Toronto and for infrastructure in Toronto are legion on this side of the House. I and other colleagues from Toronto will continue to defend our city.
Superior North EMS has officially begun working out of its new station in Shunya, which became operational this afternoon.
Construction began back in May. Paramedics are confident this new facility will improve service delivery in the area. Joe Sadowski reports.
The moving trucks were busy filling the new Shunya EMS station for the paramedics who get to call this their temporary home.
It feels like it's like 8 times the size of what they just came from.
Previously, these paramedics were based out of a trailer where space was tight and only one bathroom between 3 people. With this building up and running, these paramedics get to unwind after a long and stressful day in the comfort of their new facility. Station Supervisor Paula Varon says it's quite the upgrade.
Well, we're very excited to have a brand new station for the Shunya paramedics as well as the community, because before this they were sharing a fire hall. It was very cramped quarters, and now they have a beautiful brand new building, and it's on a beautiful piece of land. They actually have a little bit of a view of the lake in the back.
Current paramedic for Superior North, Paul Joannis, says this new station is going to help EMS workers physically and even more with their mental health.
Yeah, like I said, we're a bit spread out. We can get a little more personal space to ourselves than we were able to back in the trailer that we were in. So yeah, it's nice to be able to walk off to your room or just sit in the kitchen and then just kind of turn it off for a moment or two and collect yourself.
The new station is located on Lakeshore Drive, and Varon says it's the perfect location to reach calls in the city and other areas surrounding it.
Well, Shunya is a large area, and having the station here is optimal. It's in the center of the area, and they cover all the way from Wilmette Canyon towards the city. So it's really close to the expressway and right on Lakeshore Drive, so it's a great place to have it.
The Shunya station is fully operational as of Friday and will be housing 3 to 4 paramedics. Joe Sadowski, TBT News.
Ontario's English Catholic teachers are nearing a possible strike as negotiations with the province have hit a stalemate. The English Catholic Teachers Association is one of 3 teachers' unions still without a tentative deal. The union representing Ontario elementary teachers also took its bargaining to conciliation months before it was able to get a tentative deal with the province. That deal hasn't yet been ratified.
The Liberal Party is still without a permanent leader here in Ontario, but not for long.
By this time tomorrow, we should know who'll take the top job. Siobhan Morris has the details.
After 2 crushing elections, a loss of party status, the Liberals are hoping to write a new chapter with their second leadership contest in 3 years.
It has reinvigorated debate within the party, and it has elevated the voice of those grassroots members. That's what One Member, One Vote was designed to do.
This will be the first Ontario Liberal leader picked using that system, with 4 candidates on the ballot. MP and former Ontario Attorney General Yasser Naqvi.
I'm a most experienced leader, and I've had the opportunity to serve in cabinet.
MP Nate Erskine-Smith.
I want competence, I want compassion, and I want integrity on the big picture challenges.
The only candidate with the provincial seat, MPP Ted Hsu.
I want to solve the really hard problems of cost of living and housing, our healthcare system in quotes.
And the perceived frontrunner, Mississauga Mayor Bonnie Crombie.
I'm the one who's managed the $4 billion budget at the city of Mississauga, learned how to make priorities.
Crombie has been known to be able to get under the Premier's skin. He swears he's not nervous about facing her to keep his job.
No, that's kind of, was that a joke or no? I say bring it on.
But Conservatives say behind closed doors, they do see a challenge in a Crombie-led Liberal Party.
She has the highest AIM recognition, she has actual governing experience, and she's looking to actually bring the Liberal Party back to the center.
In an attempt to keep Crombie from victory, 2 candidates have teamed up.
I'm encouraging my supporters to vote for Yasser second.
Trying to make the math work in their favor on top of making connections.
Every riding counts for the same value, 100 points. And so you have to work in each riding. And, you know, as we've seen in leadership races, nothing's a done deal.
Liberals signed up 100,000 people to vote in this leadership election, the most in the party's history. What we don't know yet is how many people actually cast ballots, and what Liberals hope is the start of a comeback story. At Queen's Park, Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
Today is World AIDS Day, and the Matawa Health Cooperative held an event for Indigenous youth to raise awareness about the disease.
A number of powerful speakers took the stage, including the first two-spirited couple to win the Amazing Race Canada. Mitchell Ringos was there.
An event to raise AIDS awareness was held at the Matawa Education Care Center's gymnasium on Friday. It happened on World AIDS Day and saw a number of organizations take part to discuss HIV and help grade 9 to 12 students in attendance stay informed and make responsible decisions.
From my own experience, like going to high school, like I wasn't like aware of services. So I just wanted a place where our youth could come and learn about all the different services on, as a preventative measure, I guess.
Also attending the event were the main keynote speakers, Dr. James Makokis and Anthony Johnson, who were the first two spirit couple to have made it on Canadian television, gaining national recognition for winning the Amazing Race Canada. Johnson said it was an honor to be invited and share their knowledge on the disease.
With AIDS, I suffered from addiction for many years. I was on the brink of seroconverting to HIV positive. So I really want them to get that it's not some sort of theoretical thing. It could actually happen, and the cool part about it is that you can protect yourself and you can take action to make sure that you're living life in a good way and taking steps to protect your health.
Makokis says having an event like this on World AIDS Day is extremely important, not only to inform the youth of ways to protect and manage HIV, but to open up the conversation and end the stigma, saying the goal is to have no new HIV cases, which can't happen unless we are open to having those conversations.
Talking about sex and healthy sexuality and relationships and gender diversity and sexual diversity in our communities, all of which are founded in our traditional teachings around Two-Spirit people. So bringing those issues forward and letting them know that if they are diverse, it's totally fine, it's accepted, and that, we love them for who they are.
And even though this was the first event of its kind, officials are hoping that this can become an annual event. Mitchell Ringos, TBT News.
T-Baytel is once again hoping to spread joy and cheer this holiday season. Employees will volunteer with various organizations throughout the community for the next 12 days. The company kicked off the 10th annual T-Baytel 12 Days of Christmas campaign at the Dewdrop Inn. Workers purchased and helped prepare a lunch hour meal for the soup kitchen's clientele. Spokesperson Jamie Smith says the event is something T-Baytel employees look forward to every year.
Yeah, we're always looking to give back in the spirit of the season. This is one of our favorite times of year at T-Baytel. Last year we had 88 of our employees volunteer, giving out gifts and making big donations. Just as much generosity and spirit as we can throughout the 12 days.
Throughout those 12 days, T-Baytel employees will pop up across the city, but they haven't disclosed exactly where they'll be.
Skating season is nearly here. The rink at Prince Arthur's Landing will officially reopen to the community tomorrow. The public can hit the ice at the supervised rink Monday through Wednesday from 12 to 8 p.m. and Friday to Sunday from 12 to 9 p.m. Water Garden Pavilion Lodge will be providing a space to change footwear and skates and access indoor washrooms, lockers, and benches. Skating aids will also be available for public use free of charge.